Welcome to the 25th Celestis Memorial Space Flight. I say that with a little bit of surprise and a great deal of pride. Today we're going to celebrate the lives of 166 folks who are on the mission tomorrow.
My dad, Wes Dreyer, was an aerospace engineer, and we actually didn't know that this type of thing occurred until we saw it with the brochure from the funeral home. But the second my mom and I saw that we could shoot people up into space, we're like, that's my dad. He's going, he's doing this, and he's gonna like it.
It really was emotional when we got there and saw the rocket taking off, and just thinking that he didn't wish for any of this. He didn't know that this would happen, and it was really emotional thinking that there he goes and on this wonderful, beautiful mission that he didn't even know would happen. And so seeing it with my mom and my brother and my son was a really special moment for us.
He has been involved in aerospace for a long time, and this was his dream. And thanks to Celestis team, you've made that wish come true.
We started this effort with our first mission in 1997, flying out of the Canary Islands, which, by the way, if you haven't been there, go tomorrow. They call it Europe's Hawaii for a reason. And aboard that flight, 25 flights ago, we had 24 folks, 24 pioneers, including the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, the 60s icon, Timothy Leary, and 22 what I call normal folks, truck drivers, unfortunately a couple of children. But that was the beginning of what's culminating today in one of our most impressive missions that you guys are on board. Your loved ones are on board, and you're on board spiritually with that. And we'll get into much of the detail of the mission. It's really cool, and we're honored to have a representative here today from the exploration company, and really interesting technology. We've come a long way in these 25 missions, but during those 25 missions, we've been to the moon. We currently have I think it's around 360 folks, including 5 of the original Star Trek cast members, 2 NASA astronauts, and again, a whole bunch of just everyday folks that are heading on a 2.5-year journey out into deep space, where it will, about 300 million kilometers, orbit the sun for as long as the sun is there. But we've also done a number of Earth orbit missions and a number of Earth rise missions, which is what your mission is classified as. And we're just thrilled to be able to provide that service for everyone here. Our enterprise and your service intermingles 2 fundamental strains in our culture. One is the technology development that allows us to perform this unique service. But that technology development occurs in the context of human civilization, because we, unlike most other space missions, are intricately tied to the humans that we're serving. And I can't think of anybody better to bring that into context for you. We think long and hard about who we invite to speak at this very compelling service. And I really can't think of anybody better than the representative we have today from our service provider.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for having me here today. Thanks for trusting us with your loved ones and for being part of this journey with us. We are starting to see that space is not just for the few, but it is for all of us. And it's for all of us in ways that are deeply personal, in ways that are economic and technological and practical. But increasingly, we are connecting people from all over the world with this promise of space belonging to us all.
My name is Andy Wolfstig, and I'm just going to spend a couple minutes talking to you about what launch is like on the day of launch. We spend the majority of the time making sure on the day of launch that everything's going to go okay. And it takes a lot of people to do that, and a lot of people double and triple checking all the systems and the equipment and even the people to make sure that they're ready. For this launch, SpaceX has been working on the rocket for several weeks to refurbish it and get it ready. And over the last few days, they've finished connecting all the major components, putting the top on the rocket with all the payloads, along with this payload. There's 67 other satellites that are going up on this mission. This is the 26th launch of this rocket booster, the reused first stage of the rocket, which is tied for the most experienced launches from here at Vandenberg.
My name is Melissa. I am the daughter of Bob Blackburn. Today I will share, celebrate, and honor the journey of my father's life. He had always found a way to persevere, never losing sight of the end goal. Thank you for passing on all of your wisdom, brilliance, and determination. There is no doubt in my mind that aboard the Perseverance Flight, my dad will achieve his lifelong dream of reaching space. Our family will always remember the love, devotion, and guidance you provided. We will love you and enjoy.
I'm Jennifer. I'm the daughter of my father, Alan Kellett, and this is my husband, Andrew Barton, son-in-law, favorite son-in-law. He only had one daughter. He always thought that at the rate the space program was going, that it would be, just a matter of time in his 40s or maybe 50s, he would be the one to travel into space, riding those shuttles to the moon, walking around on the surface, getting to see the Earth from space. And, well, things didn't happen that way. But Erica, I'm so pleased that you and your company are democratizing space, because he would be so thrilled to see that that's finally coming to pass. And even though it's just a little bit of him that gets to go, he's going to be so honored to travel on this flight.
My name is Stephen Klafke. I'm son of David, and then this is my sister Paula, daughter of David, and then I have my father. Was really a humble person, didn't go to college. He retired after 43 years working at Safeway Albertson, so wasn't someone who came from a lot of money, but he always inspired my sister and I to always pursue our dreams. And so what I remember is being a kid and Star Trek would be on, right? Next Generation, the first one. And so that's really our story. Is we are just so honored and privileged to be part of this with such notable people that just spoke. And I think that's kind of the story here, and the theme is that it's our honor to have our father be part of this.
My name is Karen Garner-Nielsen, and I was married to Steve Garner-Nielsen for 21 years, 9 months, and 6 days. Steve had an infectious laugh and engaging personality which lit up the room. He was extremely intelligent, traveled to more than a half-dozen countries, was a voracious reader, and loved God. One of his favorite verses was from the Book of Lamentations, and it brought my son Andrew and me much comfort. Though he brings grief, he will show compassion. So great is his unfailing love. And we believe truly that compassion has been extended by Andrew and I helping Steve fulfill his dream of space travel. We enjoy staring death in the face and saying ha, because even after death, you can still make the impossible possible.
My name is Vaughn, and I'll be speaking about my dad, and this is this big guy here. This is my husband. He was so intrigued about the mysteries of space and the nature of reality. And so it was no coincidence that eventually he made a career in the aerospace industry. One of the pinnacles of his long career was while at Lockheed Martin. where he made important contributions to the Hubble Space Telescope that launched, in low orbit in 1990. As we know, Hubble revolutionized our understanding of the universe and led to many scientific breakthroughs. This was something that he was very proud of, and we are so very proud of him and his legacy to space exploration. And so while I failed to appreciate it when I was young, I recognize now the huge impact he has had in making me who I am today. I always say that all the good parts of me came from him. So I'm sure Dad is out in the universe and exploring space and countless galaxies now. But this launch is to honor him, his legacy, and for us to experience the wonder of space travel with him.
My name is Jeanette Wellborn, but my late husband is Robert Wellborn. He was really beloved, and a beloved husband, uncle, a brother, and one of his last wishes was to go to space. Well, after he passed away with cancer last year, he was diagnosed and he went quickly. It was last May. And when this was one of his wishes, one of his colleagues and his team members got together and they spoke with my sister and said, we want to do something on behalf of Robert. They really, really were a great team, and he really, really enjoyed his job there. It was waste management. They all got together and my sister said, well, you can do this for her, because this is one of his last wishes. And so they all pulled together and they gave me the funds to be able to make my husband's last wish come true. So that's why we're here, and I appreciate them for that, and I appreciate y'all for having this possibility for him to have his last wish to go to space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you for choosing Celestis, and I want to meet all of you. So I'll be around. Thanks very much. For 25 missions, I've had the pleasure, responsibility to do what I call the pre-launch briefing, and it's really pretty simple. I think by now you all have worked with us for a long time, and you've known that in any mission, three things can happen, two of which you won't particularly like. The first is we have a great success, and we fulfill our loved ones' dreams, and we move on to the next mission, and you guys have great memories and continue on with your lives.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go, SpaceX, go, Transporter 14. Vehicles pitching down green.
We are T plus 40 seconds into flight. Falcon 9 has successfully cleared the tower and cleared the fog. We've got a great view there.
Nominal.
After lifting off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
Stage separation confirmed. Fairing separation confirmed.
This upcoming deployment will be for the Mission Possible deploy. It is the Exploration Company's second space capsule prototype. This capsule is carrying 25 client payloads into orbit before performing a controlled atmospheric re-entry and splashdown. This was developed in just under 3 years, and it's going to include 5 operational phases.
Mission Possible capsule deploy confirmed.
And with that confirmation, we have successfully deployed all Transporter 14 payloads. The Mission Possible capsule is now on its way to complete its mission.
I mean, I think it was really an amazing thing to see that, and I think she would have loved it because she also loved space. And I always remember that time that we drove around trying to see the Perseid meteor shower, and we were just way too close to the city to really see it. But we drove around till like 3 in the morning trying to find a good spot. So she loved space, and she always liked looking at the stars. It was just something I remember.
Thank you so much for just this opportunity. It's been wonderful overall.
I think in talking to people, it's nice to be able to further memorialize him. Like, we knew what we were signing up for a year ago, but not necessarily to this full extent, or the fact that this would be like the first re-entry mission as well. So it's just nice to be able to share his story a year after the fact.
It first makes me feel awesome. I'm so glad that we did this, and I'm so grateful that Celestis could do this, and we've met so many wonderful people who share, a dedication and a passion for space travel for their loved ones.
I've known forever that when you're sitting there waiting for liftoff and something of yours is on board, or somehow you're directly connected to that flight, it's just a completely different feeling than if you're watching a few highly trained civil servants orbit the planet that your taxpayers are funding. It's real, it's available, you're experiencing it real time.
You want a physicist to speak at your funeral. A poem by Aaron Freeman. You want a physicist to speak at your funeral. You want the physicist to talk to your grieving family about the conservation of energy, so they will understand that your energy has not died. You want the physicist to remind your sobbing mother about the first law of thermodynamics, that no energy gets created in the universe and none is destroyed. You want your mother to know that all your energy, every vibration, every BTU of heat, every wave of every particle that was her beloved child remains with her in this world. You want the physicist to tell your weeping father that amid energies of the cosmos, you gave as good as you got. And at one point, you'd hope that the physicist would step down from the pulpit and walk to your broken-hearted spouse there in the pew and tell them that all the photons that ever bounced off your face, all the particles whose paths were interrupted by your smile, by the touch of your hair, hundreds of trillions of particles have raced off like children. Their ways forever changed by you. And as your widow rocks in the arms of a loving family, may the physicist let them know that all the photons that bounced from you were gathered in the particle detectors that are their eyes. That those photons created within them constellations of electromagnetically charged neurons whose energy will go on forever. And the physicist will remind the congregation of how much of all our energy is given off as heat. There may be a few fanning themselves with their programs, as he says it. And he will tell them that the warmth that flowed through you in life is still here, still part of all that we are, even as we who mourn continue the heat of our own lives. And you'll want the physicist to explain to those who loved you that they need not have faith. Indeed, they should not have faith. Let them know that they can measure. That scientists have measured precisely the conservation of energy and found it accurate, verifiable, and consistent across space and time. You can hope your family will examine the evidence and satisfy themselves that the science is sound, and that they'll be comforted to know your energy is still around. According to the law of the conservation of energy, not a bit of you is gone. You're just less orderly. Amen.